So I'm going to be showing you how to make this necklace that I call the bleeding heart necklace. It's a recreation of something that I saw online, and I kind of just made it up as I was going along. So I started off by measuring out wire to about 1.5 inches to start, because I knew that I wanted 3 beads on my wire and I wanted to be able to curl in both sides with a 1-step looper. But I also didn't want to be wasting a crazy amount of wire. So I wanted to make sure that my measurement was something that I could loop in both ends but not cut off too much. After you find a measurement that works so that you have both ends looped in, but you're not wasting a crazy amount of wire, then you can cut a bunch of pieces of wire that are that same length. That way you can kind of just do an assembly line sort of process where you're doing one step on all of the pieces of wire at the same time. I just find that that's the most efficient way to do things. So here you can see I'm using that 1-step looper. You can do this with just a regular needle nose pair of pliers, but I do find that this is the most efficient method because it's made specifically for making these loops. I did have to go in and fix some of the loops every once in a while, so it's not perfect. That's also because I was using a different kind of wire than I usually do, so different wires are going to be easier to bend or harder to bend. And because I was working with something that was a little more suitable for someone with a nickel allergy, it was a little bit harder to bend. Anyway, as you'll see in this video, I'm just curling in the one end and then I start putting the beads on, and you'll see a little bit further down the line that I'm just kind of making a bunch of these little kebab like things, and then I'll go through once I'm done putting all the beads on and loop all the other ends so that they are all getting closed at the same time. Oops, I broke the bead. Oh, this is not going well. After you're done with all of those, you're going to make the little pearl beads, and you're going to do the same process where you measure out some wire, you make your little kebabs, and then you close them. And it's important to note that depending on what kind of beads you make, how many beads you need to go around your neck, and how you want the necklace to drape are all factors that are going to play into how many of each set of beads that you decide to make. So this is very customizable, but it also will require a little bit more thinking on your end to make it how you want the necklace to look. The last set of beads that you're going to make is going to be for the lower layer. So there's a top layer to the necklace, and then there's the middle layer, which is chain, and then there's the lowest layer, which is just a smaller version of all the beads that you used on the top layer. So here, again, I measured out the wire to match what size my beads were when they were all put together, and I made a littler version of what I made for the top set. So this is the pattern of beads you're going to follow. I started with pearl, jump ring, set of beads, jump ring, pearl, jump ring, set of beads. So just be sure when you're lining up your beads that the centermost two beads are the same. I chose mine to be pearls. That's how I set up my bead pattern to be, just because I liked how they looked with the charm I chose. In this clip, I'm just taking the lobster claw thingy off of my charm and putting it onto one end of my necklace just to save on some costs. So as you can see, I attached the smaller chains to the top chains before I attach the charm. If you want, you can pause the video to copy this, but it all does depend on how you want it to drape on you. Here, as you can see, I'm measuring out my chain that's going to drape. I chose around 5.5 inches, but again, it's all up to how you want your necklace to fall. I decided to attach the charm with one of the pearl beads just because I thought that looked pretty, but you can decide to attach any beads that you'd like. I found that the best way to work on the necklace, if you don't have a dress form or a necklace holder, is to lay it out flat on a surface. This is what the center of your necklace should look like.